inside of me. stand here in this place, glory on your face, taken by the wonder of your grace. I'm desperate for your touch, I'm needing each other, all I want is you. We're all the things around me have fallen to the ground. I'm always thankful for the love in you I found. Take me to the secret place where I can only see your face, and nothing else will ever feel this way. Take away my guilty stains, the things I've done that I can't change. It's only by the power of your name. I stand here in this place, glory on your face, taken by the wonder of your name. Dancing for your touch, never leaving someone. All I want is you. Stand here in this place, glory on your face, taken by the wonder of your name. Dancing for your touch, never leaving someone. All I want is you. 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 Stand here in this place, see the glory on your face, taken by the wonder of your name. I'm desperate for your touch, never needed so much. All I want is you. Last time say I stand. I stand here in this place, see the glory on your face, I'm taken by the wonder of your name. I'm desperate for your touch, never needed it so much, 'cause all I want is you.
Can you give him praise and worship in this place? The Lord, all I want is we're dealing with, like I said, today's message is going to tie in a lot with what we've been dealing with over the last probably 3 months now. And like last week, I introduced the thought about God's promises, and the main thought I had last week was this: when you wholeheartedly obey, the Lord will guarantee a blessing. As we looked at this promised blessing that God was offering to His people, it would only be attainable through the word "if." See, and that's where sometimes a lot of people, I'm going to give this more fully as we go into the message, that's where a lot of churches and people have erred. They think because God said something, it's going to come to pass no matter what you do. And I'm going to bring out scripture today where that's really not necessary. I'll put it this way. There's certain things that God has stated. There's certain things in His plan. They're going to come to pass no matter if you're involved in it or not. Why? Because that is part of His design plan. In other words, Whether we believe Jesus Christ or not, whether or not we want to get involved in the kingdom work or not, Jesus Christ is coming back to earth. There's nothing we can do to stop it. There's nothing we can do to prevent it. Because that is one thing, that is something that God has ordained is going to happen. And we can either have a glorious part in that, or we can have an unglorious part in that. It's not going to change it. No matter what we believe, no matter what we do, it won't change Jesus coming back. So that's what I'm trying to say. When it comes to certain things, there's certain things God's going to do no matter what. Because honestly, it doesn't depend on us to get it done.
That's right.
There's certain things, though, that He has put out there that He wants us to get involved in, that unless we get involved in, it will not come to pass. And that's where those promises that are made that way will only be fulfilled when we fulfill the part that He has for us designed to do in those things. Okay, no, I said, I'll get there. So I sort of wanted to lay that as a ground for today. But as I said last week, we looked at Deuteronomy 28, verses 1 through 14. We talked about the promises that He was dealing with. And I said it only comes in through the word "if." And here's where, if you take those 14 verses, remember, I left this portion out last week when I started the message. But I brought it all back in to help you understand. In order to receive those blessings, here's what God says around every single one of those blessings. Here's what He says around them, okay? In verse 1, part A. If you fully obey the Lord your God and carefully keep all His commands that I'm giving you today, He says, then, okay? Verse 9, the first part of verse 9. If you obey the commands of the Lord your God and walk in His ways, then what He says there is going to take place. And then verses 13 and 14. If you listen to these commands of the Lord your God that I'm giving you today, and if you carefully obey them, and He says in verse 14, you must not turn away from any of the commands I'm giving you today, nor follow after other gods and worship them. So again, all throughout this, if you want to know what it is, you can pull up the message last week and look at it. Read Deuteronomy 28. I said you can look at what He's declaring. He's promising to do for the children of Israel. He's promising to do to the children of Abraham, for the children of Abraham. Remember, I shared with you how we as the church today, we can grab a hold of these promises because, what did I tell you? The true children of Abraham are who? Do you remember? Who are the true children of Abraham? The children of faith. Those who truly have faith are the true children of Abraham, because Abraham is the father of faith. So the true descendants of Abraham really aren't the descendants who came through his bloodline, even though God's going to restore them because He declares that in His Word. But the true children of Abraham are children of faith. So the promises that God made here, the declarations, the blessings that He declares, that He's making available to the descendants of Abraham, we can grab a hold of them because we are His children through faith. As I told you before, we have been grafted into the natural, the natural olive tree by God's hand. We're of a wild olive branch. We're of a separate olive tree that He's grafted us in through our faith. So we can grab a hold of these promises. But I showed you last week how we can only attain these promises through if we do what God says. Well, today, I'm going to look at a promise that was made by Jesus. And too many times people think, well, the New Testament negates the Old Testament. That it does away with it. I'm here to tell you, it does not. Because Christ Himself said, He said, I did not come to destroy the law. Now, with me saying that, that doesn't mean we have to obey the law. Now let me clarify what I'm talking about. Okay? Let me clarify real quick. He says, I did not come to destroy the law, but to fulfill the law. And I've explained this before, but I'm going to explain it again today. When we truly ask Jesus Christ into our heart and our life, we don't have to worry about obeying the law because we will live the law. Here's what I mean. The law says, do not lie. Truly being a child of God, you won't lie because that's not your nature. The law says, do not steal. Being a true child of God, you will not steal because that's no longer your nature. The law says, do not commit adultery. As a true child of God, you won't commit adultery because that is no longer your nature. So do you understand what I'm talking about? We don't have to worry about obeying the law because we will live the law because it becomes a part of us. say, well, Pastor, how can you say that? Because God told even Israel, he's telling the people, he says, I will remove your heart of stone, and I will replace it with a heart of flesh, on which I will write my law. And at that time, it was written in the Old Testament. You can say that. It's pointing to grace. So what was he talking about at that time? He's talking about the law. And if you really look at the law really, it mirrors what Christ is talking about. It really mirrors how we're supposed to deal with individuals. See, too many times people get on the negative side about all the punishment parts of the law, not really what the law taught about how we're to interact with our fellow human beings, and how our attitude towards them is supposed to be. See, because if we get on the negative side, then we can belittle the law. We can say, oh, we don't have to do that. Instead of realizing that when Christ comes into our lives, we will fulfill, as he said, I didn't come to destroy it, but I came to do what? Fulfill it. He came to destroy the consequence of the law. And he did that at Calvary. But with that being said, he did not destroy the law. Do you understand? Because if you truly have a relationship with Jesus Christ, what the essence of what the law teaches, you will live in your life. Okay, so that means that's what I want to make sure that clarify that somebody doesn't say, Pastor said we don't have to obey the law. That's not what I said. We won't obey it in the sense that most of us look at obeying it. We will live it. Because our nature, our heart, has been changed to come in line with the heart of God. Because you got to remember, the Ten Commandments are God's standard of perfection. And when we look at that, especially from a human standpoint, we all fail miserably. We all are guilty of all of it. Let's be honest with ourselves. When you read them, we're guilty of all of it. And it's by the grace of Jesus Christ, the bloodshed of Jesus Christ, that we're able to take on his righteousness, and he comes in. That's why it's so important to understand what the Bible says. In Christ, we have become a new creation. The old has passed away, and behold, all things are become new. If the old has not passed away, now listen to me, I highly question your meeting Jesus. Well, we're going to look at some promises. Now again, you're not, I'm going to get here because I can probably see some things going through people's minds, so let me just sort of say some things here. Now when I say that, I know when you ask Jesus Christ in your life, when you get up from the altar, you're not going to instantly be like me. I've been serving the Lord for a long time. Sometimes longer than I can remember sometimes. You're not going to be in the same place in my walk that I am. Now, with that being said, I'm not giving you excuses to the flying and flop and all this stuff. What I'm saying is you're not going to be at the spiritual understanding that I am. You're not going to be at the spiritual level that I am. And again, I only am one because of the grace of God. So understand, I'm just trying to do some clarification here. Once you ask Jesus Christ in your heart, there needs to be a change, and there should be a constant growth and change. And again, if there's not, there's danger there. Okay? And if you still need some further explanation afterwards, see me after church. I'll be glad and happy to sit down and talk with you about it. Okay? But I want to, because I don't have a lot of time here. So like I said, this week again, we're going to be looking at the promises of God. We're going to be looking at the promise that Jesus made. And I think it's a great promise. I really do. Because again, we're going to go to John chapter 14. If you have your Bibles, you can turn there. But of course, the verse will be on the screen behind me. John chapter 14, verses 12 through 14. Here's what he says. This is Jesus talking. I tell you the truth. Anyone who believes in me will do the same works that I have done, and even greater works, because I'm going to be with the Father. You can ask for anything in my name, and I will do it, so that the Son can bring glory to the Father. Yes, ask me for anything in my name, and I will do it. Now, that's what Christ said. Now we'll say, I did not leave anything out. So if you're saying, okay, what's he going to hit us with right now? I did not leave anything out. I did not leave anything out of those verses that I just told you. Those are those verses in their entirety. But you see what he's offering. He says, I tell you the truth. Anyone who believes in me will do the same works that I have done. And even greater works because I go to the Father. So when we begin to think about what Jesus is offering you, he says, again, if you ask anything in my name, I'll do it. Anything. When we sit there and think about that, we can sort of just think, man, he's giving us a blank check. Because how many things does everything cover? Huh? How many things does anything cover? Anything's a pretty inclusive word, isn't it? I mean, it's extremely inclusive. I mean, because it's anything. I mean, anything. You know, I can imagine a lot of anything. Can you hear imagine a lot of anything? I can see that. You're sitting there saying, Pastor, you guys are asleep. Yeah, I do. But I just want you to think about. I mean, really think about what Christ is offering you. I mean, this is something He's declaring. He's declaring that we can do greater works than He did. Now, does that mean our miracles will be greater than His? It's a possibility. And He could be referencing that we will do more miracles because there's more of us. Or they could truly be greater miracles. I don't know how many greater miracles you can have than raising somebody from the dead. That's pretty awesome in itself. I don't know how much greater it could be feeding 5,000 with 5 loaves and 2 fish. See, a lot of times people like to throw the walking in the water. Walking in the water is a miracle. But it really wasn't a work. I mean, I guess you could sort of want to sort of say it was, it sort of showed His disciples, hey, yeah, I'm in control of this too. But there's some pretty awesome things. But Christ is saying the same things. What did He say there? Anyone who believes in me will do the same works I have done and even greater works because I'm going to be with the Father. And if you can ask for anything in my name and I will do it. So that the Son can bring glory to the Father. Yes, ask me for anything in my name, and I will do it. But you notice, when we begin to read the beginning of this scripture, because I have a little note to myself, I said, wait a second, here it comes. Boom! Would you listen to what He says? Because it ties into what He says in verse 12. In verse 15 He says, if you love me, obey my commandments. What did He say in verse 12? I tell you the truth. Anyone who, what? Believes in me. Now, that's not just saying, oh, I believe in Jesus. The Bible says that the devils believe in God and tremble, but are they following the Lord? Are they walking in obedience to His word? A lot of people say, I believe in Jesus, but do their lives show that they believe in Jesus? Are they living a life that declares that Jesus is, let's get real here, that Jesus, as we saw in the video to open the service this morning, is Jesus Lord of their life, the way that they live their life? And Jesus, He says in verse 15, if you love me, obey my commandments. And I remember, did you hear the if? See, it's the same as it was with the promised blessing in Deuteronomy 28. But oh, when we do the if, something truly awesome awaits you. When you do it, something awesome awaits. And I put there and said, I probably should have entitled this series of messages, The If Promises of God. But if I would have done that from the get-go, you all would have known, well, he's saying if he's going to do something. But again, I want you to understand, God is promising things in His Word. Christ Himself has made a promise here. But He also says, after He makes this statement, He says, if you love me, obey my commandments. In John 15, verse 7, He says, but if you remain in me, and my words remain in you, you may ask for anything you want, and it will be granted. So you notice, he says, yes, we can ask for anything we want, and yes, it will be granted. But what is the stipulation there? If what? If you remain in me, and my words remain in you, which means what? It must be a life of action that is lived in faith. Without that, we can sit say, well, God says I can ask anything in His name. But here's the thing. If you're not truly loving Him with everything that is in you, if you're not obeying His words, don't expect an answer or prayer from Him. Don't expect to ask for anything, and then all of a sudden it's going to happen. I'm going to get there a little bit later on explaining anything here in just a second. Because He did say anything. He means anything. Okay? But we'll get there. Not only will what He said earlier will happen, but this also will happen. He continues in verses 16 through 21 of John 14. I will ask the Father, and He will give you another advocate who will never leave you. He is the Holy Spirit who leads into all truth. The world cannot receive Him because it is not looking for Him and doesn't recognize Him. But you know Him because He is with you now and later will be in you. See, again, that's what I'm explaining to you. When we come to salvation, what he's talking about here, the Holy Spirit begins to be with you at salvation, but He fills you. He's literally in you in fullness in the baptism. Okay? I will not abandon you as orphans. I will come to you. Soon the world will no longer see me, but you will see me. Since I live, you will also live. When I am raised to life again, you will know that I am in the Father, and you are in me, and I am in you. Those who accept my commandments and obey them are the ones who love me. So what is the stipulation of those who love Him? Those who accept His commandments and those who obey Him, these are the ones who love me. And because they love me, my Father will love them, and I will love them and reveal myself to each of them. You begin to see how He's drawing this picture together. Yes, He's saying all of this is available, but then He begins to preface it. He begins to explain it more fully of what this relationship with Him will look like. What it's going to be, because in order to have what He's talking about in verses 12 through 14, 15 through 21 must take place. It's got to be that we're truly pursuing Him with all of our heart. Amen? Then He continues in verse 23. He says, Jesus replied, all who love me will do what I say. So how do you know if you love Jesus Christ? You do what He says. Why did God say that David was a man after His own heart? Because He says He will do everything I tell Him to do. So in other words, He will do what He says. You see how it's beginning to all be pieced together. All who love me will do what I say. My Father will love them, and we will come and make our home with each of them. Anyone who does not love me will not obey me. So if you're not listening to Him, now again, this isn't me. Now again, these are the words of Jesus. What does it say? Anyone who does not love me, what? Will not obey me. So, if you're not obeying His commands, what is Jesus saying about you? What's that? You don't like it? I don't care what you say. The same as I put it out there before. Mary, we were discussing a friend of hers about a relationship she was in. Not married, we're friends. And we were discussing how true love is displayed through how you treat somebody. If you, again, this isn't this situation, but if you're a husband or a wife and your husband punches you in the face or abuses you physically, I don't care what they say, they don't love you.
Yeah.
Because their actions show different than their words. You can disagree with me, I don't care, you're wrong. Because see, I have the right truth standing on my side. You just have your own thought process, which is always can be subjective and highly error. Pretty blunt, isn't it? Love is always shown through actions. Always. A man can say he loves his family, but if he's not willing to lay, in other words, if trouble comes and he's not really ready to lay his life down for his family, or he doesn't give his life for his family, he does not love his family. He loves himself more than he loves them. Ooh. Love is always shown in action. Always. It's always shown in how we relate and how we deal with those that we say we love. It's not shown in words. It's shown in action. So Christ himself is saying, in verse 24, anyone who does not love me will not obey me. Remember we read earlier, all who love me will do what I said. But anyone who does not love me will not obey me. And remember my words. And remember, my words are not my own. What I am telling you is from the Father who sent me. I am telling you these words now while I am still with you. But when the Father sends the Advocate as my representative, that is the Holy Spirit, he will teach you everything and remind you of everything I have told you. I am leaving you a gift. Now, just hold on a second here. Christ now is promising a gift. Again, it all ties in with the if. But Christ is now going to declare he's going to leave a gift. This is a gift I think a lot of us would love to have. He says, I am leaving you with a gift. Peace of mind and heart. Folks, as believers in God, we should not be stressed out about every little thing. Every little thing should not get us down. Okay, I'm going to be real this morning. Let's be real. Let's be true. If you find yourself constantly there, you're not trusting God the way you should. Because this is not, let me ask you a question. Am I the one saying this? I'm the one who said the statement I made, right? That one statement right there. I'm the one who said that. But am I the one saying this? Now I gotta find it here. Come on. Oh, there it is. I am leaving. Who's making this statement? Jesus. I am leaving you a gift. Peace of mind and heart. Who said that? Jesus. And the peace I give is a gift the world cannot give. So don't be troubled or afraid. So what is he telling us? He's saying, because he's getting ready to tell his disciples the mess that's going to happen. And he's preparing them. Because you'll see as we read the rest of the scripture verse how he's preparing them. But he's also preparing us with this. Don't let the things of this life come in and take your joy, rob you of your peace. Because he, as believers in Jesus Christ, he has given us peace of mind. He's declared it. But it all comes in with, it all ties in together. I am leaving you with the gift, peace of mind and heart. And the peace I give is a gift that the world cannot give. So don't be troubled or afraid. Remember what I have told you. I am going away, but I will come back to you again. If you really love me, you would be happy that I'm going to the Father, who is greater than I am. I have told you these things before they happen, so that when they do happen, you will believe. And here's the thing I want to declare to you. Everything he said came to pass. It happened just like he said. So you know what? That means we can trust and believe that not only what he says is true, but we can trust and believe in him. He did all this so we would believe. But he goes to show, but he began through all of this, he's going to talk what? He said, if you love me, boom, you'll do this. So he ties his love in with our obedience to him, obedience to his word. See, am I the one putting the if in there? Am I the one putting in the other part of the promise, the fulfillment part of our half of it? Am I the one putting it in there? No. Jesus is. And that's what I'm saying. Too many times we sit there and think, well, God said it, so no matter what I do, it's going to be fulfilled. Yes, when it comes to certain things, like I said, Jesus coming back. There's nothing, whether we'll be part of it or not, he's coming back. But promises that he makes to us about blessing our life, about doing this and doing that, it comes in conjunction with us being obedient to his word, and we show our love through our obedience to him. So I'm hoping everybody's truly understanding what I'm talking about this morning. I'm trying to get this point across. And I have to say, wow, what a promise. The promise, and now listen to this. The promise to ask for anything in his name. The promise to do even greater works. The promise of being infilled with the Holy Spirit. And the promise to have peace of mind and heart. And I'm here to tell you, many of us under the sound of my voice today, we need to truly understand that Christ has promised us peace of mind and heart and truly begin to live in that. But I'm telling you, the only way you're going to live in that is when you truly pursue him with everything that is in you. When you must do it his way. Too many times we're trying to still get our own will, our own thoughts, our own way. Say, no, I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. But I'm here to tell you, that's going to lead you to a life of unfulfillment, to unfulfilled promises. God is faithful. But in those promises that he gives to us, there is a part that we must fulfill. And it comes in fulfillment. The fulfillment is pursuing his heart. And if we don't do that, the promises that he declared will not be fulfilled in your life or my life. And I have here, I said, wow, who wants these promises? I know I do. I know I do. But the thing is, are we really willing to pay the price? Are we willing and ready to do what he says? Like I said, I'm pretty sure pretty much all of us probably want to do as I said last week. If you don't want this, there's probably not something right in your head. You're a little off or something. Right? But as I begin to close, my suggestions will take the place. But you must understand something very, very important in life. Like I said, did you hear the if? Through all of this, that there's that if, there's that stipulation. He promises this, but there's that if. And like I said, I've said this many times. I said it last week. I'll probably say it several more times. I'm sure I'll say it many more times as being your pastor. God's love is unconditional. God's love is unconditional. It's eternal. It never, ever changes. It can't be any greater. It can't be any less. It will always and has been that way. It's always unconditional. This promise is conditional. Remember, I shared the relation between a parent and a child. How as a parent you would tell your child, well, if you do this, then we're going to do this. If they don't fulfill their bargain, if you're truly a parent that lives up to your word, then what you promised won't happen. Because what? They did not do what they promised. And again, I brought this up. How do we think as being followers of God, that we're followers of Jesus, that it's any different? That just because God promised something, we just say, oh, well, I don't feel like doing it, Jesus. Okay, well then he's not going to do what he said he would do, especially when he puts the stipulation on it. All right? In fact, as in my devotions this week, I came across a portion of scripture I'll read here in a second. And I said that this promise is conditional. It's conditional upon obedience. Wholehearted obedience. Obedience is a matter of the heart. A heart in pursuit of God. And I ask again, do you begin to see how all of this is beginning to tie in together? But in my devotions this week, I was reading the book of Jeremiah. And in Jeremiah 18, verses 7 through 10, here's what God is speaking through Jeremiah. Now listen to me. If I pronounce that a certain nation or kingdom is to be uprooted, torn down, and destroyed. If God pronounced that, it means it's going to happen, right? Because He pronounced it. But listen to what He says. But then that nation renounces its evil ways. I will not destroy it as I had planned. So we see that's where we see repentance coming in, right? Where they repent and all of a sudden salvation comes, right? We can sort of almost begin to correlate that way. Listen to what He says after that. If I pronounce that I will plant and build up a certain nation or kingdom, but then that nation turns to evil and refuses to, what's the word?
Obey.
What's the word?
Obey.
What's the word?
Obey.
Come on, church, what's the word?
Obey.
And refuses to obey me. Listen to what He says. I will not bless it as I said I would. Can I get any plainer or simpler than that? Okay, now I'll get rid. Well, Pastor Dave, he said nation. I'm an individual. Shut up. It's called you're grasping at straws. It's called you're trying to justify things that you need to clean up, straighten out, and get out. Church, you understand? If I didn't love you, I would tell you this. I would tell you what you wanted to hear, just make everything sound like it's okay. But I want you to make heaven your home. I want to make sure that you're serving God the way that He wants you to serve. I want to make sure that His promises, His blessings can be fulfilled in your life. And the only way it's going to happen is by you pursuing it the way that He says, not the way I say, but the way that He says. And that's why I so much try to make sure what I'm saying, what I'm declaring to you is rooted and grounded in the Word of God. I don't want to tell a whole bunch of stories to you and hardly bring any Scripture. Because the thing is, our life and our success with Jesus Christ and with God is found in His Word, not my stories. Or not anybody else's stories. They're found in the truth of His Word. And I declare this truth to you because I want you to be the child of God He wants you to be. And I want His promise to be fulfilled in your life the way that He wants it fulfilled. But it all says, we must do it His way. Now, am I saying by being declared that I'm doing everything the way I'm supposed to? No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying this is what God declares. I need to make sure that my life lines up with that. I need to make sure that my heart is pursuing His heart. I need to make sure that I'm obedient to His Word. Or else, what I've even declared today will not happen in my life. You understand? See, so I'm not putting myself above you. I'm not trying to make you think I'm better because I'm not. What I'm preaching to you, I'm preaching to me. But if we want this to happen, we got to listen to that if. We got to make sure our heart's lined with His heart. You know what? We're going to live a life of frustration. We're going to live a life of unfulfilled promises that we're trying to bank on that will never happen, Shelley, because we're not doing it the way that God says it's to be done. Are you understanding a little better? A life that's completely given to Him is not a life in vain, but it truly will fulfill the wonderful life that He describes and talks about. Then what will happen what He says here. Like I said, do you see the theme? It is a theme of wholehearted obedience. It runs all throughout this. This is how we will obtain God's promises. Like I said, in fact, as I shared last week, He guarantees it. He guarantees! But we must be obedient to His Word. And if we're obedient to His Word, we are destined for blessing. And I'm going to be blessed. How about you? I'm going to be blessed. But the key is obedience. The key is obedience, wholehearted obedience. A heart that's pursuing His heart. When you wholeheartedly obey, the Lord will guarantee a blessing. But it's got to be done His way, church. It's got to be done His way. I can't stress that enough. It's got to be done His way. Get your thought process out of it. Just begin to trust and let Him do. Just trust Him. Try it His justify you. Let him prove it. Let him show that he's honorable to his word. He's faithful to his word. Because he's faithful. If you don't, he's going to be faithful to where he's not going to fulfill it. Are you truly pursuing him the way that he wants you to? Are you showing your love for him in your actions? That's what Jesus said. You know if you love him or not. Your actions show him. We need to come to a place where we're ready to surrender ourselves to him. I know we have this song we have playing. It's called Surrender. I'm just going to say, if you want Christ to fulfill the promise that he declared in these verses today, it comes through a life of surrender. And if you want that, if you desire that, let this song be your prayer. And God's going to speak into your heart throughout this service. I'm asking you, as we sing this song, slip out from where you're at and say, Lord, I want what Pastor to talk about today. Lord, when I really begin to look at things, I see that many times I try to pursue things my way. And I realize today that it's not going to come to fruition my way. It's not going to happen the way that I want. But it will only happen the way you say. And Lord, I'm willing to humble myself. I want you to fill with your spirit and your power. If that's you, as we sing this song, come forward and just cry out to him and say, Lord, here's my heart, here's my life. I give it to you. Fill me with who you are. Mold me, shape me, fashion me after your perfect plan and will. Give me a heart that pursues your heart. Because the thing is, it's not that we're really seeking the promises. When we seek him, the promises follow. But we must have a heart to seek him. When we seek him, the obedience follows. So stop seeking the things. Stop seeking the gift. Stop seeking the promise and seek the promiser. Seek the gift giver. Then everything else falls in place. But we show that by surrendering ourselves to him. Amen? Let's sing this name this morning.